Everything has been entrusted to me by my Father, says the Lord. The most important things in our religion go back to the time of Christ and the first apostles. The faith that you and I hold and try to live by was revealed by Christ and given to his apostles. They may not have used exactly the same words which we find helpful in our own day, but the essence of our faith can certainly be traced back to the Lord himself. We say that the process of revelation ended with the death of the last apostle. In other words, when the last apostle died, there were no more truths to be delivered. And after the death of the last apostle, the task of their successors, the bishops, was to hand on the truths that they had revealed to them. And their task wasn't to invent new truths or a new faith, but to pass on what they themselves had received, without addition, without alteration, without diminution, to each succeeding generation. We usually call that tradition. Having said that, sometimes God intervenes. He chooses to give us help in understanding some part of his truth, a fresh way, if you like, of learning the meaning of Christ's own teachings. And one notable example of this is the cult of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. For hundreds of years, the wounded heart of Christ was the subject of special prayers, a lot of love and devotion on behalf of Christ's followers. But it wasn't until the 17th century, during the lifetime of St. Margaret Mary, our saint today, that this devotion was given a new impetus. In 1671, St. Margaret Mary became a visitation nun at Paris-le-Monial in France. She didn't find life easy, but she persevered and she prayed. And after numerous trials, Christ appeared to her and showed her his Sacred Heart. She described it vividly. Sometimes it was burning like a furnace. Sometimes it was torn and bleeding on account of the cold indifference shown to him by ungrateful humanity. And in 1675, God made it known to Margaret Mary that she would be his chosen instrument for spreading devotion to his Sacred Heart throughout the world. And that is exactly what happened. And ever since, countless Christians have been inspired and consoled by contemplating the heart of Christ, burning with love for all mankind, converted from their indifference and lukewarm approach to something much more worthy. Let's bear in mind that this message was nothing new. The Gospels make very plain the love that Christ has for us poor sinners, his compassion for the poor, the sick, and the outcast, clearly revealed throughout the New Testament. Yet, in the private and visionary revelations given to St. Margaret Mary, this gospel truth is brought more clearly into focus. We're able to visualize it dramatically, and so it becomes more real to us, more alive. Margaret Mary is an inspiring example of how God can use what is lowly and apparently unimpressive in the eyes of the world to achieve his purposes. I thank you, Lord, for hiding these things from the learned and the clever and revealing them to mere children. As an enclosed nun, Margaret Mary Alacoque lived a hidden life. And yet, if you think about it, her influence has been enormous, hasn't it? Through her, God reinvigorated our devotion to the person of Christ, most especially to his burning heart of love. And that's the central part of the Church's teaching. Small wonder then that after a crucifix and a statue of Our Blessed Lady, pictures or statues of the Sacred Heart figure so prominently in the homes of Catholics. Together with the crucifix, the image of the Sacred Heart reminds us of the limitless divine love that comes to us through Jesus Christ, true God and true man.